General Soult sent General Godinot's 6 battalions against the village of Albuera to pin the Allies frontally, while he once again swung the bulk of his 5th Corps against the Allied right flank. A fierce action erupted between Godinot's battalions and the 2 KGL light battalions of General Alten, who defended Albuera. The French fought valiantly to take the village, but were hampered in their attacks by the small river, with only one bridge across into the village, while Alten's men were well supported by the artillery of General Stuart's division. To the right of Godinot's assault on Albuera, the light cavalry of General Briche clashed with some of the Allied cavalry. The Allied regiments, after some success, fell back. Briche's hussars and chasseurs then rashly charged the Portuguese infantry of General Hamilton. The Portuguese, stood upon rising ground and remaining in line, fired such devastating volleys into Briche's oncoming squadrons that they were forced to retire from the field, their losses grievous. These early unpromising events were merely a sideshow for Soult, as his main attack now developed upon the Allied right. Some 8,000 infantry in 2 divisions, commanded by Girard and Gazan, with La Tour-Maubourg's cavalry to their left in support, moved forward in a dense mass of columns. The scattered fire of the French voltigeurs, ahead of this advance, signalling the surprise appearance of the French flanking attack, which now threatened to unhinge the Allied position. The 4 Spanish battalions of General Zayas's brigade, standing on the nearest hill, quickly realigned to face the leading French division commanded by Girard. The French were soon involved in a short but savage exchange of musketry with Zayas's men, but then, as they attempted to charge home, the leading French battalions were shattered by devastating close-range volleys from Zayas's 2,000 men and thrown back. The officers among Girard's battalions strove to get their men to come on again. A sudden downfall of rain heralded Girard's second attempt to clear Zayas's brigade off the higher ground, but the Spaniards stood defiantly to their post. As the rain eased, they again answered volley with volley, and once again the French fell back. The Allied commander, General Beresford, ordered the Spanish general, Blake, and his subordinate, General Ballesteros, to realign their infantry behind Zayas to support him. Still fearing the main French attack would come frontally, the Spanish command was slow to comply. A concerned Beresford then sent frantic orders for General Stuart to get his British brigades moving in support of Zayas, who, Beresford feared, could not hold for much longer. General Zayas's brigade, battered and running low on ammunition, was to prove far from beaten just yet, and remained in place as Marshal Soult ordered Gazan's division to now smash their way through where Girard's battalions had so far failed. All too aware that Gazan's and Girard's 17 battalions would crowd into something of an amorphous and unwieldy mass on their axis of advance, which indeed they had, Soult had ordered General Well's division of 9 battalions to join the attack on Albuera. Well's infantry arrived as Godinot's sorely tested 6 battalions were then retiring, and immediately renewed the assault. Well's infantry, supported by Soult's final reserve, Colonel Var's 2 Grenadier battalions, moved to the right of the village to attack Hamilton's Portuguese infantry upon the hill. The French grenadiers advanced close to the village and then halted. Observing this, Alten ordered his 2 KGL battalions within to form up and prepare for a counterattack. At the far end of the Allied line, Zayas's brigade took the brunt of the French assault yet again, as Gazan's battalions now came against them. Another heavy fusillade erupted, and despite growing casualties, Zayas's men again traded volley for volley, but the relentless French pressure at last forced the 4 Spanish battalions to fall back. The leading French battalions were finally on the hill, but they too were nearing exhaustion, and with the heavy losses taken, and much time lost in defeating Zayas's command, Ballesteros had been given the time to bring his own Spanish infantry across and up in support. To the right rear of the Spanish, the first 2 British brigades were also now well forward, and so the Allied right was secured. La Tour-Maubourg's cavalry, after initial success against some Spanish cavalry, had then been fought to a standstill by General Lumley's British cavalry of heavy and light dragoons. Well's division had fought an equally grinding action with the Portuguese infantry, the latter forced to give ground only after another murderous exchange of close-range musketry. The French were again badly mauled for their gains, the Portuguese giving ground grudgingly, and they were falling back on the support of General Cole's so far unengaged and fresh infantry division. Alten's advance from out of Albuera was to put the seal on the Allied victory. The KGL light battalions, despite having already seen heavy fighting with Godinot's command, poured in volleys upon the astonished French grenadiers and then charged them with the bayonet, driving them back and tumbling them from the field.
When a bugle for battle so merrily sounds, in the ranks of the diehards each heart then rebounds. As fearless of danger, right onward we go. When up go our colours and down go the foe, be they Russians or Prussians or Spanish or French, at scaling a rampart or guarding a trench. Not a bayonet, no bullet, our progress retards, for it's just all the same to the gallant diehards. Our regiments conquered, but never in vain. They'll witness those hills and the mountains in Spain. They'll witness the shades of those hundreds who fell at Red Albuera, and a victory can tell how Sultan and his Frenchmen were beaten and sank, as we fell on them fiercely, rank after rank. Invincible seemed those brave children of Mars, Lord Beresford styled us the gallant diehards. What harm if we suffer from hardships at times? What harm if we're bronzed by those hot eastern climes? Such trifles as these our spirits can't damp, for we're jovial in barracks and more so in camp. Watch the girls how they smile when we march through the town, when they hear we're the diehards of far famed renown. So fill up your glasses and show your regard by drinking the health of each jolly diehard.